come sail away with me. Who's that pizza boy?
What? Who's that pizza boy?
Yeah, have you ever heard that song?
No.
Neither have I. And even though I ain't got money,
What song is that?
I'm so in love with you, honey.
I ordered. I think that's what our problem is Showboat over here. It's like, once I ordered a...
What up, everyone? I just had to show you guys a little bit behind the scenes of Dad Bods and Bears today. We did 2 episodes today. We did our 49th and 50th episode of Dad Bods and Bears today. And I was blessed to have my son there with me. But what is up, everyone? Can everyone give me a thumbs up that you can hear me? I don't want that again. Tom, you can hear me, right? Thumbs up? No, you can just show me a thumbs up in the green room. We got Tom, Mr. Santa Tom, in there for us, and I'm looking so forward to getting to know more about him. I just found out this is his first live other than game night. So this is going to be fun, all of us getting to know Santa Tom a little bit more in depth and more personal. So I'm looking forward to, because everyone knows the dynamic he brings to the screen when he does his reviews and all that. And he has that voice. So anyway, I'm going to say hi to everyone. We're going to do a little preview of Santa Tom, and then we'll bring him on and ask lots of questions. So what's up, John? What's up, Dino? What's up, E? Oh, hey, Marvin. Marvin, thank you so much. Dude, I'm really excited that you can be there on the 6th. Again, on the 6th, everyone who is a member can be there with us and create September Center of the Month with me. I'm looking forward to that. And Santa Tom, he's saying hi in the green room. What's up, Kevin? Hey, Jacob, Amber, that was a wonderful review. If you guys are not following Amber, make sure you do. She did a great job, and it's really fun to see. What's up, Michael H., Jordan, Nick? Hey, Nick, you've never been to our game night. Right after this, we're going to be having game night. It'd be so much fun to have you on screen again with us. JP, how you doing, buddy? Mr. Viking Papa, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I'm just making sure I have everyone. Baker, how you doing, man? I love the color of your guys' beard. Toll Booth Willie, what's up, man? And Robert, how you doing? Mr. Garrett, Mr. Darth Thaddeus. I think that's a fun name. I know, Marvin. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. And Amber's a part of it. Melissa and Garrett are part of it. Dino's a part of it. Robert's a part of it. JP is a part of it. Viking, Toll Booth. It's going to be a fun time where all of us get to talk about what we want to see for Center of the Month. With that being said, you guys didn't come here to see me. You come here to see Mr. Santa Tom. So what we're going to do is I want to play a little video for you of him doing a little promo video that made it so that he won. And he won to do the collab with me, and we decided to do December Center of the Month, where we're going to create a Center of the Month, and it's a collab between us. And I'm looking so forward to it. Because of this video, he won. And here we go. Let me just get this real quick.
Ho, ho, ho! Keep it up, girls. We're almost over the drop zone. We've got to get these Copper John products delivered to these stockings tonight. We don't have any time to waste. Oh, I just hope my head elf has enough time to get some more made before the night ends. We got to get these beard butters out. Go condition the beard, boys. Ho, 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 ho. We got to get these Copper John's oils out. Get out there and make them beards soft. Oh, I love it. Oh, and we got to get our revitalizing hair serum out there. Get out there and make them beards grow. And we got the sweet water conditioner. Oh, I absolutely love it. Hate to give it up. Go do your work. And last but not least, we got our ball wash. Get out there and make them boys clean. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is my head elf calling right now. Yes. What do you mean you don't have enough time to get all of it done? Get it done. That's an order. What, hey, Marvin!
And only those who are... What's going on? Oh, I was still on YouTube. I was like hearing some backbeat. Dude, anyone who has watched been a part of game night is cracking up at that last part. I thought that was funny.
That was so much fun to make, and I love Marvin so much, and I love watching his videos just like I do Amber's and everybody else who's on here that does content. It's just so much fun. But I sat down and it just came, and it took about 10 minutes. I went in there, got dressed, threw a little white in my beard, and just had fun with it, and it's almost got 3,000 views, which is the funny thing, because I always wonder. I look at myself and I think, who's going to watch this stuff?
Right? I think that's amazing, because like I was telling you, like, you're going to blow up one of these days. You're going to have something that goes viral, and your persona, your just who you are, just emulates to everyone on screen. Like, you are very good about just giving your personality to everyone, and you don't hold back. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's very kind of you to say that. I appreciate that.
Well, it's the honest truth. And you were the first person. I had Philip, and then I waited like a month, and now this is a regular thing. I'm going to have people on. I really want everyone to get to know each other a little bit better. So with that being said, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Tom Smith, a.k.a. Santa Tom. I'll be 54 here in a couple of weeks. Happily married to my lovely wife, Candace, here in East Texas and North Pole, that is.
Hottest North Pole ever.
It is right now, yes, sir. And have four beautiful children and a stepdaughter and awesome. Five grandkids. So just loving life right now. It's a lot better than it was when I was younger, but it's amazing how we grow up. I was just telling Tyson before this started. I watched a couple of I've never seen the Copper's Lodge before. So I watched a couple of them. I watched Philip, and I think it was Vinny. Is he the
Vinny,
really big guy?
Uh-huh.
And I think he needs to be the bodyguard for a certain individual. But but it's a lot to live up to, and I have a lot in common with Philip. To be honest with you, I love Renaissance festivals, and my brother and I have been going to the Texas Renaissance Festival since 1977.
Oh, so,
wow. Since we were kids, and just absolutely love it. So he's my kind of people. I had so much fun watching. Do you
ever warp? Is it called warp or LARP?
LARP. Well, I dress up going out there, but as far as the seriousness of these guys doing all this cosplaying and the LARP, I don't. But we do love dressing up going out there. I do more of the Santa, like the kind of the Celtic Santa going out there anymore. So,
dude, you're gonna have to send a picture. What does a Celtic Santa look like?
It's more of kind of like the old Father Christmas look, okay. Green suits instead of the traditional red like we have here in America. But originally Santa was. I don't know if I should go into all this, but originally Santa's costumes were white and tan. It wasn't until Santa came to America that the suits and Coca-Cola in the 40s introduced the red suits. So,
interesting. Yeah. So really, Coca-Cola created the Santa that we know today.
Kind of like the Santa we know today in the United States and we know and love. Yes.
Yeah. He's like, can you believe it's only 5 months away? Dude, I can't believe it's August in just a couple of weeks.
Tyson, it's Christmas every day around here.
Well, let's just dive into the Santa Claus thing. So what inspired you to be Santa Claus? And how did you get involved in it's called Worldwide Santa Claus Network, right? That's what you called it.
Yes, sir.
And the Lone Star Santa. So tell us about how all that happened.
Okay. Well, I've loved, of course, like most kids, I love Santa since I was a little kid. And my mom used to tell me, two things when I was a kid. I always wanted to be the trash man, and I always wanted to be Santa Claus. Okay. The trash man, because when she finally took my bottle away from me, when I guess I was old enough to walk and talk, they threw it away, and I would stand out there every day and watch the trash man come by. Anyway, that's getting a little too. But then the Santa Claus thing, remember when you used to go to the stores and you still see them around, but the Salvation Army Santas and I used to think
ringing the bell.
Yes, and I used to think
Miracle
that was
34th Street. Is that what it's called? That movie?
Absolutely. And I used to think that was so neat, and going in and seeing the mall Santas and I would just think that was so neat. So when I got old enough, of course, when I was in my 20s, 30s, I was too cool for that kind of stuff. But secretly, and then once I started having kids, and now that I have grandkids, one of the biggest joys in my life is making kids happy, seeing them smile. And to me, kids need to, they need to have something to believe in. They need to dream and their imagination. We live in a world today that's, everything's, everything's instant. We got everything right now, and kids don't have to use their imagination as much anymore. But to see kids' faces, when you walk in and they see Santa Claus is one of the most amazing things in the world to me. So a couple years ago, I started looking for a Santa school, and a lot of them, of course, are up north. And there wasn't really, I came across the Worldwide Santa Claus Network and Ed Taylor. And I always have people ask me, if I want to be a Santa Claus, how do I go about it? In fact, I've got companies that I'm reviewing for.
So you can't just be a Santa Claus.
Well, absolutely. Yes. I mean, anybody.
No, if you can go be a Walmart, not a Walmart, like a mall Santa, or do you have to actually go to school for it?
Well, anybody could go get a suit and be a Santa Claus, but to get certified or, there's a lot that goes into it. If you're going to do it professionally, you definitely want to get certified. You definitely want to get licensed and insured, which, I've done all that. So, because the last thing you want, especially in the world that we live in today, is to be out there and something happen, God forbid, and, they're coming, next thing you know, they're coming after your home. But that's just a reality of where we live at today. So here comes the Worldwide Santa Claus Network. I think anybody can go over there. You can look at their website. You can join for free, but they do have different levels, of membership, and you pay a month. And he does live videos. Ed Taylor is a fascinating man. They call him the Santa of the stars. I mean, he did a lot of work in Hollywood for decades, and it's just when you look at him, if you ever look him up, that's Santa Claus.
Okay.
Ed Taylor is Santa Claus, but and he's got over 7,000 members now in his school worldwide, and you can call him up on the phone and he'll answer just like you're right next door to answer any questions, just like you, Tyson, just the most humble, down to earth guy. Here I am talking to a multi-millionaire business owner on a live stream right now.
I wish.
Right. Well, it's coming, brother. It's coming. But you know what I'm saying? Guys that are just extremely busy that will take the time to reach out, and for somebody like me that's just some old country boy that lives out here in East Texas, and stop me if I'm rambling too much, but
I'm enjoying this. I do have some questions
sure
that are going to make you vulnerable, and if you
Okay.
don't feel comfortable, but this is cool. I want to know your history.
I'm an open book. The Lone Star Santas is an organization. It's a group of Santas here in the state of Texas, hence the name Lone Star Santas. And it's the largest Santa organization in the United States. There's 400 members. It's 400 Santa Clauses, just a great group of people. And I'm the youngster. I mean, I'll be 54 here in a few weeks, and I'm the youngster in the group. I mean, some of these guys have been doing this, Tyson, for decades, and it is so neat to me, just like getting on here and on game nights and watching these guys that you guys have been doing this for years, some people decades in the beard game, and getting the advice. It's humbling to me to be able to reach out to these guys and talk to them and learn, because they've seen it all. They could tell you the tricks, the tips, and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's a little bit about the Worldwide Santa.
Okay, I didn't even think of this question. This is just off the cusp. I have written down questions. All right, there are hundreds of movies by Hallmark,
right,
that are all Santa Claus related and love stories and all this kind of stuff. Have you ever been approached, or would you ever want to be in something like that? Because you have the voice, you have the look. I mean,
well, thank you. First of all, well, I have not yet. Now, I'm a young Santa. I've only been professionally about a year. So I started the first time I put on that suit, I went to a Renaissance festival, and I said, I'm just going to do this because it's something I always want to do. And just kids just would come up to me all day and just come up and stare at me. And I would bend down and say, hey, how you doing? And they'd start telling me, I want a Barbie. And I just thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah,
so
that is cool.
The one thing about the Worldwide Santa Claus Network is, as a platinum member, which is like, I don't know, $28-30 a month, I think, to be a platinum member, they have classes to teach you. Taylor has classes to teach you how to get in the movie industry and the side of it. And so that's something that I have dabbled in. I'm interested in. He knows all about it because he's been on shows with Will Ferrell. I mean, he's been on all kinds of stuff. If you guys haven't looked up Santa Ed Taylor, I would encourage you to. He is so much fun, and he is just he personifies Santa Claus.
Who's the Santa Claus in Elf? Ed? Is it Ed? Dude, he is like the best Santa Claus. Tim Allen played a good Santa Claus.
I don't remember. Tim Allen's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my all-time favorite, and I get a lot of heat for this, but my all-time favorite as of far is Kurt Russell in the
Dude,
Christmas
so good. His look is amazing.
He just brought the cool to Santa Claus, you know?
Seriously, I have to agree with that.
Right.
I didn't like the second movie. The first one.
I didn't either. The first one's the best. And you know, people used to say, oh, if you had a speck of dark in your beard, which I do when it gets closer to Christmas, I will get my beard bleached a little bit and get some of this darkness out of here. But he kind of made it cool to have a little, little salt and pepper in there as well. So I really like that.
All right. So I'm getting some questions. So Ed Asner. I love Ed Asner. He did a great job.
There you go.
And he's the one who played the grandpa in Up, right?
That I don't know.
All right. So I have 4 things for you.
Okay.
So you just saw Will right here. I have to scroll up real quick. Will, I still believe in Santa. So Will right there is doing a meetup. But it's more of a meet. It's more than a meetup. It's like a beard competition. A bunch of us are going. Copper John's is going to be there. All this kind of stuff, and we're gonna go noodling. I don't know if you know, Ed. We're going to go to the bayou. We're going to have a crawfish. We're going to do all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, if I go down there, we got to do this.
Hey,
so he wants you to come.
I'm an hour and a half from Louisiana state line.
Dude,
so
that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Miles, I will ask the second question. The first one I'm going to wait. Do they ever pull your children? Do they pull your beard often? Ever tell you they smell of beef and cheese and you sit on the throne of light?
I haven't got the second part yet. The pulling of the beard, yes. Babies, and I'm gonna tell you the funny part is my grandkids kids are great. They love it. They have fun. My grandkids are terrified of me when I get dressed in the Santa gear. It's like I'm a different person. And that's the funny thing to me because they know who I am. But all of a sudden I put this and they screaming and running, So, but yes, the pulling of the beard, I haven't been thrown up on or peed on yet, but I've heard.
I have.
You really?
Well, I have 6 kids.
Well, but my kids I have, but as far as in my, so, but you hear all the stories and these guys tell you, all the little tricks and tips, but the breakfast with Santas, you see a lot of the bread, you'll have syrup all over your, in your beard and, you hear all the horror stories, but I haven't really had anything like that yet. So this is the first year it's going to be really, really full-time and serious though.
That's cool. So Darth Thaddeus, Garrett, I will ask that question at the very end too, but I do want to know your answer to this.
Okay.
For Tom, is the movie Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Absolutely 100% yes. Absolutely.
All right. I do want to talk a little bit about more Christmas, but I do want to talk about you too. But can you share, since you just started, you might not have anything, a heartwarming story from the time of volunteering as a Santa Claus at the Texas Children's Hospital? Because you did do that. I loved your bio. If you guys want to go into the description, his bio is there, and it's very, very descriptive. I really appreciate that.
You don't realize it's easy to get on the business side of things. And I'm sure you, as a business owner, Tyson, I'm sure you know this, but you can get so caught up in the business side of it. And being a professional Santa Claus, there is a business side of it. I mean, you've got overhead, you've got things that you've got to take care of to break even. The suits are not cheap. it's just like professional clowns. A lot of people think, oh, that's just a clown. He's a clown. That stuff's expensive. The shoes alone are $400 or $500. Same with the boots. And I mean, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right and make a lasting memory for families. You want to look the part and be the part. So yes, when you do things like that, the Texas Children's Hospital, or volunteer for things like that, it brings things into perspective. I know you've done things for veterans. I know you did something with Vinny, or you did that. I lost my train of thought. That fundraiser you did a few months ago
for the heart surgery.
Yes, that's when things come into perspective, and then you realize that, hey, to donate some of your time, that's the least that you can do. Because when I put on that suit, I'm a different person. You're a superhero, and that's what I feel like. And it's easy to entertain. I love that scene that Burt Reynolds said in Smokey and the Bandit, when Sally Fields asked him, what do you do? And he says, I show off. And to be a good Santa Claus, that's what you have to do, is just go out there and be boisterous and show off. So yeah, to see kids, and that's what it's all about. Is to make the kids happy. And if you can do that, even by volunteering, it's worth it for me. And that's been the most gratifying, I think, so far in my venture as being a professional Santa Claus.
Can I say something that's off cuff? Is Logan and I just recorded episodes 49 and 50, like I was saying at the very beginning. And we're talking about positive self-talk and how do we stop being so critical about ourselves and talk negatively about ourselves in our mind and stuff like that. You know what? One of the things that they say that you need to do to stop critically talking negative about yourself to yourself, volunteering and serving. And that's what you do on all the time. And I think that's just amazing. I mean, no wonder why you're so happy.
It really brings things into perspective, doesn't it? I mean, it makes you realize the old saying. It makes you realize how lucky you are.
Oh, yeah.
These parents that have these kids in there. When you have healthy kids, all your kids are healthy, and I hope your daughter's doing better, by the way. I know
Amazing.
You said she took a nasty spill, and unfortunately, we don't feel a lot of those spills and falls until we're older, do we?
Yeah, she had to do a CAT scan, and then she had to do what's it called? MCAT? She had to do one of them, and it didn't work because she has braces, so they couldn't see the back of her neck.
Oh, wow.
So they had to do another scan, and luckily she didn't do it because it would have really damaged it. But she's doing great now. When you're that young, you just heal so fast.
Right. Absolutely.
If it was me and you, we'd still be hurting.
I'd be done. I'm paying for things now, from my early
on our head.
Oh, I'd be through. Yeah. Things now, a replaced hip and a broken back and things that from when I was younger and in the military that, I definitely feel it these days.
But, okay. So, what does it you kind of talked about this, but what does it mean to you to bring the joy and happiness to others during the holiday season, but not just holiday season, all around? I'm like, we'll start with that question.
Absolutely. It's the world to me because, when I always hear you and Logan talking about your own insecurities and it resonates with me. And I don't know how far you want to go back, but, my mom is the most special person in the world to me, just like most are. And the reason why is because when we were kids, there was me and my brother and my sister. There was three of us. And my mom was in a very, very, after my dad and her were divorced, I was 7 years old. She got into a relationship or a marriage and to a very, very abusive man. To the point to where I don't want to go too deep into it, but it was more than just physically violent. It was life-threatening violence. Mm. And we witnessed that, and he would use things like that to keep her from leaving him. Anytime she talked about leaving or something, and back then, how it was kind of back in the 80s and before laws started changing, it's just there was no help. And so growing up with that, my brother and sister and I were very close. And one of the things that we decided was we will never be like that. We will never treat our spouses or significant others like that. And now that we're older, nothing can separate us. But as a kid, doing without some things, and my mom would always, even in those situations, make sure we had what we wanted. Just the first thing that pops in my mind. I remember back in the early 80s when, I was a big Star Wars nerd. And when Empire of the Strikes came out, and we didn't have any money. We were poor. We lived here at East Texas. We were very poor. And, she just made sure that because I liked that so much, I was able to go, or on Saturday nights, if we wanted to go to the roller skating rink, that was the hangout, I guess.
I remember the rink.
Right. But she would always make sure we were able to go and have fun, even going through all that. And today, of course, she's no longer with that gentleman once we got old enough. But she's married to a man now who is actually her one of her first love, and treats her like a queen. And he's my hero. My stepdad.
Have you ever listened to David Goggins' bio?
I have not. No,
you should. It's almost identical to what you just said. Probably don't listen to it. It's just like he goes over the things like that you went through as a child. He was that child like you, and to hear the things that you guys had to go through is just, I'm sorry, man.
Well, wait, and I like something that Vinny said, when he was talking about how he was this rough and tough. I mean, he looked like a bad hombre. He looks like a bad hombre now. I can only imagine what he was like when he was younger, right? And I mean that. I don't mean any disrespect in that, Vinny, please. I mean that with all due respect. But it's, it's like that saying, there comes a point in your life you have to make a decision. Yes, I was raised like that. Am I going to let my past define me, or am I going to go out and define my future, right?
I love that too.
I got to grow up at some point, and I've got to make a decision. I've got to learn to be the best dad I can be, and then, carry forward and then be the best grandfather I can be, right? And hopefully being the best dad I could be and learning from those past experiences of what not to do. It's hard to know what to do, but it's really easy to know what not to do. And that's going through a lot of that garbage. But just there's nothing I wouldn't do for my mom is to me the most amazing individual in this world. She'd give the shirt off her back to a stranger on the street. She's just that kind of person. So that influence right there is to answer your question, to make a long story short, is yes, because a lot of times I didn't have the childhood maybe that most people dream of, want. That's why I love doing it for the kids, is because if I could just make these kids happy and just people in general, on my channel, I'm not looking to outdo anybody. If I can lift other people up, I love Amber. I love all these other guys out here that's doing these. And if there's anything I can do. And the funny thing is, Amber, we had talked, her and Kev, we had talked on the phone, and she was asking some tips on editing. I said, girl, you're doing 2 times better than I am. Right? She's doing 10 times better than I am. So, but I love seeing people succeed. Tyson, your company, I just hope nothing but the best. I love seeing people succeed in life. And if there's anything any little part that I can do in that, I will. And I really want to see little kids succeed. And I think the biggest way that you can help a kid succeed is help them with their imagination. Give them something to believe in. Kids need something to believe in. There you go.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, they need time with their mom and dad. They need time.
Absolutely.
They need the belief. They need just to be a child and know that they're protected and loved. So I love that. That's really good.
A kid, especially a son, needs to see their dad, needs to learn how to love a woman by watching their woman. Love their mom. That's to me, that's the reason why I believe, and not everybody's fortunate enough to grow up in 2-parent homes, right? But that's why it's so important to me, because a young man needs to see that in his life.
I love that. It's always had, we'll get into that in just a sec. But What you went and got your bachelor's degree. I don't think you said what you got your bachelor's degree in, and if it did, I missed it somehow.
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice. Okay, that makes more sense now. With that though, how has that helped your career path and personal life with that degree?
I hated it. I hate school. I like what Philip said about the trade schools. You know, that's why I finally, you know, I went through all that school and all that torture. Now, hey guys, nothing wrong with schools, kids. If any kids are watching, stay in school. but there's so many trade schools out there now, right? I finally got into truck driving. Out of high school, I went into the military. I wanted to. My dad was a United States Army veteran, 23 years, served, volunteered for 3 tours in Vietnam. He was just a bad dude. I love my dad, miss him every day. But he taught me a lot. Of course, my grandfather was in the military. My uncles were in the military. So, what do? You go in the military, right? Me and my brother went in the military. And my brother was in the Army. I was in the Army. He was an MP. I was in the mechanized infantry. So went to the first Gulf War, seen things I wish I would never seen. But then I got out. Well, what do? I come back to Texas. I do a little kind of odd jobs here and there. But there's the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, which is the prison system here in Texas. And it is the largest prison system in the United States, maybe the world. I don't remember, but definitely United States. I think there's 110 prisons in the state of Texas.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's huge. So you go in there. I loved it because I love the structure. All right. And that's what I love in life. And that's another thing I believe is important for kids, is structure in their lives. But, I love the structure of it. It was kind of a paramilitary style organization and just a great organization to work for. I loved every minute of it. But the things that I've seen in there between that and the military, and, when you start, I made it all the way through the rank of major. And that's why I got my degree, to answer your question. I wanted to promote. I don't like standing idle in life. I always want to try. And that's always kind of, I don't know if that's a plus, a benefit, or if it's even if maybe a negativity. I always want to do more, right?
That makes sense, though. I get that.
If I see, as a business owner, I guess you would have to, you always got to have that drive, right? So, I wanted to promote. Well, I started promoting up. Well, in the prison system here in Texas, you see everything. I mean, I've seen guys stabbed. I've walked in the cells where there's so much blood on the walls, and I've seen the suicides, lifting guys up, off, of nooses, and you've seen it all, right? And seen some bad things. And it comes to a point in your life to where you've seen enough bad stuff to where you just want to bring joy to people's life. And that's the decision, what really drew me to the Santa, to finally say, you know what? I don't care if somebody thinks I look funny in a Santa outfit. I want to make people happy. I'm tired of the negativity. So then I got out and got into the trucking industry and have been happy. And I don't drive anymore. I'm a transportation supervisor now, again, because the drive, I want to move up. I couldn't leave well enough alone and stay a driver, which is a lot more peaceful. But so there you go.
Yeah, you just hit all 3 questions like I was going to ask next. So that's great. So you're talking briefly about your military service. You were talking about the Gulf War, and I was going to ask you about your experiences, but it sounds like there was a little horrific, and so we don't need to talk about that.
Well, it's not as bad anymore. It's a lot years later. It's a lot more. And look, Tyson, there's guys out there now that have went through Afghanistan and seen a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
When you see your first deceased body, I'll say, in a combat situation, it's something you never forget, and it's taken a long time. It's something I never talked about. In fact, maybe, well, I say you, but the world here we're talking to, but my wife, maybe have heard some stories, but it's a lot better now. That was actually more of a cakewalk than the prison system. The things that you see in there are, it's the dregs of society, right? But then you got to separate, because they're still human beings. So I don't want to make it sound like, but it would just desensitize you to so many things. And you just had to learn how to flip that switch off when you go to work. And then when you leave work, you had to switch that that switch off.
That's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I decided not to go in medicine. I had my biology and chemistry degree. I was going to take the MCAT. That's why it's on. And I was going, but they make you before you apply to anything, they make you shadow doctors. And I saw some things that I'm like, I don't want to do this. And the doctor's like, you get used to it. I'm like, I don't want to.
Right.
Like I just don't want to. And so with all your experiences, how has that, for the positive or negative, change your perspective on life and leadership and just your personal well-being with your family and stuff like that?
Right. That's a great question. One of my favorite quotes of all time is from, he's gone now, but was my commanding general during the Gulf War, and that was Norman Schwarzkopf. And he said, it doesn't take a hero to order a man into battle. It takes a hero. It takes one of those men that goes into battle is the hero, right? I'm kind of paraphrasing there, but I have taken that quote and made that a staple in my life. Not, because you walk out your door these days in the morning to go to work, you're basically going into battle, right? You don't know what you're walking into these days. I mean, look what's going around in this world today. So every day you have to have the mindset that I'm not going to let anybody else dictate or determine where I'm going in life. I am going to make myself go out there and be the best person I can be. Now, you can take that one way or the other. You can say, I'm going to go out there. I don't care who I got to step on to get ahead. I don't care. If that's the life you want to live, that's the consequences you got to answer for later on to whoever you believe your maker is. All right. Mm-hmm. But if you want to truly be successful and happy in life, I believe, my opinion, my humble opinion, is you go out there, you be an example, be that mentor, be an inspiration for somebody. That's how you succeed in life, in my opinion. That's what you're doing by, and I know you don't like compliments, and I get it. I'm the same. Really I'm the same way. I laughed so hard during that anniversary special when everybody was coming on, just gushing, and I'm sitting there laughing to myself, thinking, boy, I could just see myself in the same situation, But it is nice to get recognition. I think sometimes, and everybody needs that recognition, I believe, right?
Yeah.
It's nice to get recognized for doing something positive. That's why we give kids positive feedback when they do something good. So I like that. Mm-hmm. I did something nice or good, and they're telling me I did a good job. So, I'm not comparing that to everybody should get a first place trophy in life. I don't believe in teaching kids that. There is losers, and we got to understand that it hurts, it stinks to lose sometimes. Yeah. But that should propel us to strive harder in the future. So I don't even remember the original question, so I got way off on a tangent.
Yeah, I think you answered it, but it was just talking about how has being in the military and being in the criminal justice changed your perspective on life and your leadership and how you interact with your family.
Right. It was hard. It was really hard after the military. I would say further after. Once I started getting older and started maturing, prison system started getting, because I advanced in rank really, really fast. I made major in 7 years, which takes a lot of people, in the system, maybe 20 years, to make. Now I'm not giving kudos to myself. I'm just saying that's the drive that I have in life. People talk about how much content I put out. To me, it's fun, but it's a hobby, but I've got a goal in my head, and I've got some great advice from Dan C., from Greg Boswell, from some guys that I have a lot of respect for in the community. And I love this community so much. And the reason I think I love it so much is because of the camaraderie, right? Just what you're doing right here, getting to know individuals. It's not about, hey, look at me. It's, what can I do to help this individual? But as far as the leadership, I've always been told I'm a natural leader. Again, I'm not trying to toot my horn. It was
a question we want to know.
Right. Well, I feel like I am a natural leader. if there's a role to fill in a leadership position, I've always been the kind of person to just step in it. I don't like seeing things going undone. I think the worst thing a person can do in their life is be afraid to make a decision. Right, wrong, or indifferent. You either make a decision and learn from it, or you make a decision and stick to it and see it through to the end. All right. That's just kind of what I live by. And I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life. So, but you learn from it and you become a better person, I believe, from that. And to me, that's all a leader is being willing to step in and not just telling, like that quote I just said, not just telling somebody, hey, you got to go in there. Mm-hmm. We had a riot on a medium custody block, which is one step away from them just being in solitary, locked up, in solitary confinement. Is we had a riot on the block, and one of my officers was in there, and I was a sergeant. I always told my officers, if you are stuck in a situation like that, I will come in there and I will get you. Right. So it's easy to say that until the time really comes. Right.
Yeah.
So we had a riot on the block. One of my staff did the right thing. They got underneath the stairwell on the block. They weren't paying no attention to him, but it was some serious stuff going on. I told the key control officer to open the door. Well, that's one thing you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to open the door because then it could spill out and cause all kinds of problems. I told them to open the door. And they looked at me. I said, open the door. Well, I went in and I got my officer out of there. But that's just me. And I would like to think that in life, just anything in life, that we don't know how we're going to react to certain things until you're put in that situation. I think I've heard you say that before. And it really resonates with me because that's just how. I'm not saying I'm brave else or I'm this or that than anybody else. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I've seen enough violence, pain, and death in my life. I don't want to see anybody involved in that. If there's something I can do to prevent it, I think that's what a leader is, right? You want to step in and you want to help out. You want to lead by the front. You don't want to tell people, hey, go in there and do that. You want to be the one that's leading to the front. I know I'm rambling.
No, I've never met anyone who's actually been part of a riot in prison before, so it was.
Oh goodness gracious! It was every other day. The one of the units I worked at for the first 7 years was a place up here in just north of Huntsville, and the average age of the convict was 18 to 23, and these are just kids that had to prove something. So it was every day there was fighting, stabbings, suicide. It was just every day overdosing, on fentanyl. When fentanyl got really first introduced, that was bad. It was really, we had people, it seemed like somebody was dying every day, and it was getting smuggled in. So.
Yeah, I talked to a coworker of mine a long time ago, and his son was in prison, and I was talking to him about it. I'm like, is it as bad as they say on TV? He's like, it's worse.
Oh yeah. They really fluff it up on these TV shows. When you watch these TV shows, it's all about the convicts.
Yeah.
All about, they and which is fine. That's, it is what it is. That's what sells, I guess. But to listen to the other side of it, it's a lot different story. Because these people have to go home to their families, right? Mm-hmm. All this, So,
all right, switching gears, man. All right. You are a dad. You are a grandpa.
Yes.
Before we start anything, how tall are you?
I am 6 foot.
Okay, I'm just thinking of you going in a riot and you're like 4'2", and you're like. Da, da, da.
Hey, some of the toughest people.
You're the elf. You're an elf. You're not a Santa.
Some of the toughest people I've seen were ladies that are 4'8", and they have more fight to them than most men I've seen. They're 6'2", 6'4", So yeah.
But with you being a dad, with you being a grandpa, and I've heard being a grandpa is one of the best things you can ever be.
Absolutely.
What are some of the proudest moments you've experienced with them, with your children and with your grandchildren?
The proudest moments, seeing them married, graduating high school, of course, the graduations and the recitals and all that, of course, you're proud of. But until you watch your kid walk across that stage, and then when they decide to move out of the house, reality starts setting in. I've always heard the empty nest syndrome, and in my mind, I'm thinking when my girl, because I raised 3 girls, and that's why I don't have any hair anymore, because they were rough. I'm telling, and they apologized
I have 3
to
of
me.
them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, and they apologize to me all the time. My oldest daughter, she's 34. She still calls me all the time, Dad, I'm so sorry, because she's got kids of her own now, right? So, yeah. So, but when I think that the most proud I ever felt was when my first grandson was born, Ryder, who's 11 now. But you're proud when you see your kids born. You're a daddy, right? But when you see your kids have kids, it brings a different element into it, right? It's time for you to be proud of them. And I think that's the most rewarding feeling, is when you get to be proud of your kids for what they're experiencing now in life. And I'm so fortunate, how my kids have grown up, and, just the things they've done in life.
I will tell you what my dad said when he's like, I don't mean to bring religion or anything like that. This is just my family.
Right.
He said one of the most proudest moments he ever had was seeing my oldest son say a prayer. Because that means he taught me and I taught my son.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, he's like, that was the proudest moment I've ever had, just knowing that me as a dad did it right, where my son is now teaching his son. And I thought that was really cool.
Oh, and you just reminded me of something. You asked Philip, I think, on that last one, has he ever been to Rome? I've been to Rome.
What?
I have. Well, my dad was in the military. We traveled all over the world. I've seen things as a kid. I can remember 11 years old in Rome and at the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel and going in there.
That'd be so cool.
And then my dad screaming at me because I'm sliding down the banister outside the Sistine Chapel. He's like, boy, what are you thinking, man? This is, how ancient this place is. You're acting, so yeah.
Is that where, is it Michelangelo?
Yes.
It's Michelangelo. That's that chapel, dude. That would be cool. Epic.
The Sistine Chapel. There's some and Germany. A lot of people don't think about Germany's got some of the most beautiful castles just in the world, and been through Switzerland and France, and just been to a lot of cool places. Got to see a lot of things. Unfortunately for my wife, now I've seen so many things when I was younger. She wants to go places now, and I'm like, so unfortunately for her.
Did you see a lot of World War II? I don't know why, but I'm a history buff, and I think the old war, this castles, like all that kind of stuff is just.
Yes,
not just be there, but know the history of it. Like, it's so cool. When we went to Gettysburg and we went to like Manassas, the Battle of Manassas, all that kind of stuff when we were there. It's so cool to know the stories.
I love the history. My sister was born in Berlin, actually, and when it was still East and West Berlin, obviously back in the 80s. But we lived in Berlin, and there was still aftermath there, and you could still go to the concentration camps. And I remember going to Dachau, visiting a concentration camp back in the 80s, and I don't want to get too, but I mean, there was still odors there from even back in the 40s, that still. It's very haunting, but a lot of history. I love history, love World War II, especially. My wife is a huge World War II buff.
Dude, I don't know. I'm a little jealous. I'm not going to lie. Dude, we've been doing this for 48 minutes. This is crazy how fast it goes. I have so many questions I want to ask you, so I need to see which one. No. Yeah. I want to ask all of them. I think they're good questions. Okay.
I did see Darth Dadius's question.
I have 5 questions to ask you after.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you that, so no, we don't need to. What advice would you give to others about finding joy and fulfillment in their lives? Because you've seen stuff. You've been through stuff, like you said, when you were a child. You've seen stuff in war. You've seen stuff in the criminal justice. But yet your positive attitude is contagious. You as a person are grateful, are generous, are kind. What advice do you give someone to have what you have?
To me, it's very simple, and I don't want to sound like some philosopher, but go out and help somebody. Whether it's go out and help your neighbor that's an elderly neighbor mow their lawn, go help somebody, because when you do that, it does something. It's almost like it heals a part of you inside, in my opinion. Go make a kid smile, go help them, go teach a teenager that doesn't have a dad how to tie a tie, go help somebody, bring a little joy in their lives. And I know that may sound corny to some, but it means something to me. And I do a little short video, Tyson, every day every day. I don't care how tired I am, if I'm sick. I do a short video on something about Christmas every day, and a little known fact about Christmas, Santa Claus, and I have a blast doing it. And if it can just, because if it reaches one person, makes one person happy, to me, it's worth it. And it makes me
100%.
happy.
No, if you and me included, like why we do dad bods and beards and stuff is like,
Yes.
if we're able to touch one person and help them get through therapy, go to therapy for the first time, or help them feel seen and not, do something to harm themselves or anything like that, it's 100% worth it. Will I ever know? No.
Right.
But I feel like we are creating a positive outcome, and so we keep doing it.
Well,
And
I will tell
love
you,
that, man.
you guys have helped me tremendously through more than you'll ever know.
I appreciate that.
You really have, and it just opening up, because as men, it's hard. It's hard to open up. It's hard to kind of let our feelings out there, right? And the older I get, the more emotional I get about things, I guess. So it gets a little easier the older I get.
Well, I think you just get to the point where you're just like, I want to be happy.
Absolutely.
What I'm doing right now is not making me happy. What's funny is you were talking about you're a little bit emotional. Logan was crying in our last episode that we did. He's like, I don't remember the last time I cried in this. I'm like, last episode? He's like, shut up.
He's such a good dude.
Oh, he's amazing. I love the guy.
You guys got such a great chemistry together, and it's just so fun to watch.
I'm going to get him to go to Louisiana too. So
that would be wonderful.
Yeah, it'll be fun because he's just a part of it, just like all of us are. So all right, let's hurry and ask their questions, and then I'll ask one more. Okay, all these ones. What is the wildest or funniest thing that a kid has ever asked for Santa for Christmas?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, these days kids have smartphones. So the wildest thing is getting up and I had a kid quiz me, sit down and pull out this and start asking me to name off all the reindeer. I'm done. It's like game night, like Jeopardy, and you're like, what? This little 7-year-old kid's got a smartphone questioning me. So you always got to be on top of your game. But I would say that's the first thing that pops in my mind. That's the craziest thing. Of course, you always got kids asking for a horse, or and you just really got to think quick on your feet. These kids ask for things. Got the parents in the background with wide eyes, going, "They want a what?"
Yeah, so. Like, I can't give you a PS5. I can't promise you this because I don't know your family's. Yeah, that's hard.
Right.
All right. Next question. Love the positivity, you guys. Santa Tom, when is your clap coming out? December,
yeah. Oh, and Melissa, hey, thank you so much. I tell you what, I know you're very lucky. You feel very lucky to have her. She answering the emails, second to none. I mean, it's just.
We got a customer who was really upset today, and rightfully so. Like he was a little confused on butter and how it melts and stuff like that, and he was a little upset, and when you're upset, he was a little aggressive, and she was freaking amazing at it.
Yeah. Well, there's no, I know there's been some hiccups. You guys have just been so busy. I think things have kind of blown up probably a little bit, and so you just got to expect those things.
Yeah, we're feeling the growing pains. I'm not going to lie. And the stress is there because of it.
I can only imagine.
Santa Tom, what's your favorite oil scent when you suit up?
This is going to surprise a lot of people. Now, of course, I got to be careful. Guys, I'm a tobacco scent guy. I don't smoke, drink, dip, or chew, and I don't date girls. And I don't date girls who do, right? So, I'm a tobacco scent guy. I love tobacco scents, but now when I put on that suit, of course, everybody expects you to smell like peppermint. So I wear a lot of peppermint scents. In fact, I've got of course, tonight, I've got the revitalizing hair serum, the peppermint in. At night, I usually wear the lavender, but for this occasion, I wore the peppermint.
But how do you like it?
I absolutely love it. The lavender at night. I don't really like wearing scented stuff at night, but the lavender is just so relaxing to me.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, I love it.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix my.
Oh, it's okay. So yeah, I a good peppermint. And there's plenty of companies out there that sell, especially around Christmas time. Everybody's selling Christmas, but it's funny how everybody just assumes that your Santa. He wants a cookie scent or a macchiato scent or something like that. So. But I'm a huge tobacco scent fan.
I was just thinking of some ideas since you said that. I'm like, how cool would it be like a tobacco peppermint I don't know. There's got to be something out there.
To me, that brings back memories. That's kind of like that. It just gives me that old Father Christmas vibe. And yeah, it's just.
Dude, that's like coffee for some reason reminds me of Christmas and my grandpa.
Yeah.
Like it's just something about that. Like when you're with you have a sleepover at your grandparents, because I lived in Idaho, they were from here. And so we would drive down for Christmas and when we went camping and all that, there's something about scents and that just bring back memories and peppermint and coffee and things like that. Tobacco.
Yeah,
100%.
Nutmeg, clove, those darker spices, absolutely love. And I think those are Christmas scents,
I do.
So just it reminds of younger days.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Garrett wants to hear you say ho ho.
I'll do my best. I kind of like that. I like what I like, of course, in Christmas Chronicles. I don't, but all right. Ho, 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 ho.
I love it. That's perfect. Tobacco, peppermint, cedar. All right, I'm going to ask you one more time. One more thing.
Okay.
Is there anything else you would like to share with with everyone here in the audience, in the chat, about your journey or experiences, or anything where just, advice on how they can get fulfillment out of their lives? Just anything out of that you haven't said.
Well, I end every where this came from. It's like the first date. I felt so corny, but I made a video. I wanted to, I watched guys like you and of course the bigger guys, Dan C, Greg Boswell, and I don't know, a lot of people. It's amazing to me that don't know him because he's got like 40,000 followers. But
yeah.
Just a great guy.
Videos are clean too.
Oh, and he is just in life in general. I talked to him today, and he is just such a good guy with advice, and it's funny because when you ask him for advice, he's just such a wise guy, such a smart guy. I asked him, what's your advice on content creation? And he goes, don't quit your day job. That's the first thing out of his mouth, right?
Yeah.
Who says that? Don't quit your day job. In other words, don't put your life in other people's hands is where he was getting at. You stick with you. I end every video with, remember, this world could use a little kindness. So be kind to one another. And as always, keep Christmas in your heart year round. And I don't say that just to say it. I say, we all know how we feel about Christmas. We all know what it's like. And Tyson, you with your kids, up on Christmas morning or however you do things, and
best thing in the world,
and it's a great feeling. But if we can each just learn how to keep that feeling year round, I think the world will be a better place. And now more than ever, in these days that we're living in today, we need to be kind to one another, and it starts with us individually. I really believe that.
Okay, last question. I keep wanting to ask you. Like I said, I have like 100 questions.
I'm sorry. I know I ramble.
No, dude, this has been amazing. Like this has been amazing. There's zero reason to be sorry. Favorite Christmas movie? That's just out of the blue. I know.
Well, it's always been the Scrooge type movies has always been my favorite, but until recently with the Christmas Chronicle, the first Christmas Chronicle movie, I would have to say by now trumps Santa Claus movies and the Elf. I love Elf, which my wife absolutely can't stand. But say as of now, because she doesn't like Will Ferrell, but as of now, I would say that of all time now is the first Christmas Chronicle, and I take a lot of heat for that. But
no, that's I would have to say It's a Wonderful Life is mine, or the first Santa Claus with Tim Allen, or the second one. I like that one.
All right. A lot of people don't know that they first tried to cast like Bill Murray or Chevy Chase for that role, and Tim Allen.
They didn't.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, because they wanted to give kind of a darker kind of theme to the movie, but I'm so glad they went with Tim Allen. Absolutely.
Oh, Tim Allen was perfect. I can't imagine anyone else doing as good as him. Everyone's loving this, man. You're doing a great job. Like everyone's saying, you're doing a fantastic job, man.
I appreciate everybody. I love everybody in here and appreciate it. And if there's anything I can ever do to help in any way, please let me know.
All right, so it's 8:00, so 10:00 Eastern right now. The show, let's make a plan. Game night, let's make it 8:15. That gives my camera to cool down. Me use the restroom, hurry and finish my dinner, and then so in 15 minutes at 10:15 we'll start again. So
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you guys being here. Tom, I hope this was good for you because I really, really enjoyed it. I know everyone in here did.
It was great, Tyson. Thank you very much for having me. I was nervous as all get out, but you know how to make a person feel comfortable. I appreciate that.
Oh, I don't know about that. You could not tell if you were. But I appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much.
You did amazing. So everyone, we'll see you in 15 minutes. And are you going to be there?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Great job, man. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.